Hey guys, welcome back to another What If. This is a whole different What If, so if you're new here, like and subscribe, and welcome, of course. Um, so this is what if Deku had an inventor's quirk. Now, to begin off this series, first of all, I just want to apologise for my squeaky chair. I don't know what's happened, I don't know if you can even hear it, because yeah, but let's jump into the actual important part, which is the borderline beginning start of the story, I guess you could say, or it's more like the uh explaining the how the world is different because I'm jigging it up a bit to make it interesting and quirky and okay, it's 4:30 in the morning. Cut me some slack here. Right, let's get right into it. Anyway, so uh I don't know if you heard any of that. I'm just trying to make the videos a bit more lively with my voice. Anyway, right, let's go. Right, so to begin with, we're gonna start back to when Deku was 5 years old. His symbol of peace, his idol, I guess you could say, at the time, went missing. This, of course, shocked the whole world as All Might, the symbol of peace, went missing out of nowhere after saving a bunch of people. Now, I don't know if the timeline's right, but either way, I'm doing a fight that happened after he saved a bunch of them people and basically became the symbol of peace. So he was known by everybody, and he just disappeared from the globe. We'll find out what happened to him a little bit later, but that's when Deku also found out about what quirk he had. Deku wanting to be the symbol of peace and all that, wanted to be the new symbol of peace due to the old one going kaput out of nowhere, and this kind of motivates him a bit more. Like, I'm not gonna disappear out of nowhere like All Might did. Instead, I'm gonna become a symbol of peace like he was, and stick with it for as long as possible. Anyway, so uh, Deku would preferably want a powerful quirk that can be used for fighting, like, I don't know, Bakugo's quirk. Anyway, so you found out about Bakugo's quirk at school, so he's all like excited, like, oh, I could have explosions come out of my fists. Uh, of course, he realizes that absolutely it's nothing's happened. So he's like, am I quirkless now? Uh, yeah, I don't know whether that makes sense, but basically what I'm going at is he's excited about Bakugo's explosion quirk and how cool that is. That he wants a cool quirk himself. He's kind of expecting a cool quirk, and at the same time, he's not expecting any quirk because he's got nothing like coming through about his quirk, like no dramatic changes. Also, some of it just fell off my chair, which it's great. It's great. Uh, but we move anyway. So he's got no dramatic changes. So he thinks he might. Like he wants a powerful quirk, but he thinks he might be quirkless. So he's gone to the doctors. The doctors scan him, and they realize he has a quirk. They do this because he has a dent in his toe, and this quirk is of course the inventor's quirk. Now I forgot to mention that I have already done this on my channel. This is a complete redo. Sorry about that. Anyway, so Deku realizes he has this inventor's quirk. This is, of course, after some testing, and it's not called the inventor's quirk. It's actually multiple different quirks kind of rolled up into one. So you know how Todoroki can control fire and ice. Well, Deku has a couple of quirks rolled into one. The first one to mention is his IQ is stupidly high, though it kind of activates like a quirk would, like how Todoroki activates his power. So Deku's IQ is not always that dramatically high. He kind of has to put it on. This is so that his personality isn't affected by him being super smart. I wrote this is because I want Deku to stay Deku, not become over smart. If that makes sense. I don't know if you get what I'm getting at, but yeah. The second thing is what does his inventor's quirk do? It increases his brain ability by a lot. This, of course, means he's good with basically anything like maths wise, uh, blah 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 blah. The second thing is, this is more not quite a quirk, though it is linked to his quirk. He's got an understanding of machines. This is because his quirk affects his personality, like Bakugo's quirk affects his personality, like how he's explosive. So he has, although he gets that from his parents, but I'm just going with that. So he also has the ability to just understand machines, what seems like out of nowhere. But that's not really linked into his quirk. But since I'm describing everything, another thing he has is it's not quite X-ray vision. It's more technical vision, and what this basically does is anything with machine type technology, his eyes will pinpoint the certain bits, so you can see the wires in the circuit, and everything goes like different, like highlighted when it comes to technology, so he can look at the inside of technology and suss it out. So let's say he could look at my computer, which totally doesn't have a glass screen on it, right? So there's a blank case of servers, and he will be able to look in and see whether it's an SSD or a hard drive, or to see its CPU. And due to his natural understanding of technology, he'll be able to suss what CPU it is due to the configurations and the chipsets and stuff. So basically, he has eyes that help him do technology, and he also has a high IQ to do with technology, and yeah, so that's what his quirk is. Now Deku thinks that's quite useless, but then he's also like, well, I guess I always have had a second dream, which is becoming some sort of mechanic or a inventor. So that's what he does. He becomes an inventor. But um, this is of course like a normal inventor. So he starts off making a car. Um, he makes a car. Just give me a sec. Sorry about that. We're gonna scrap the whole making a car idea because I just realised I've not fully explained. So Deku gets his quirk back, and the rest of the kids at the school think it's pretty lame until well, no, they all think it's pretty lame, and so does Deku really, because it's not flashy at all, and it's all really internal, and he can't really do much with it towards his dream as a hero. But of course, he does have the dream of becoming an inventor, so he's going to focus on that. So rather than making the next symbol of peace, his new dream is to, rather than becoming the symbol of peace, his next dream is to make the symbol of peace. So to design the equipment and stuff like that for the symbol of peace. So that's where he goes, like in life, if that makes sense. So he starts off by asking Inko Midoriya um, whether he could get certain equipment. So she gets him basic equipment from the shop. This includes just some technical electricity stuff. But I feel like I should also mention about where did this quirk come from. Right, so this quirk is one of those quirk mutations that come out of nowhere. This is a 1 in 1 billion chance. Like, this is never seen before, so they did some more studies on Deku, but they just kind of chalked it up to genetics and like alleles and stuff. They didn't quite know what it was, and neither does Deku or anyone else. So it's kind of just brushed under the rug for now. So is the All Might thing. We've got to get, we'll get around to that. We'll get around to that. So anyway, Deku asks Inko for some parts so he can start making, just practice on his inventor's quirk. So he decides to take a couple of days off school. This is because Deku's still a kid, so school's not to do all end all. Number two, he did get bullied straight away due to his weak quirk, which he told his mum about. Number three, he has a boosted IQ, so he can catch up easily on the work, and Inko knows that. So basically, he takes a whole week off school. This is when he spends a week practicing basically using his inventor's quirk as a kid. He manages to make his own personal computer, and he does this through scrap parts that he asked Inko Midoriya, his mum, to buy off the internet. this is when his mum finds out he's a prodigy, and starts to basically and then he then she asks him to work hard at school. I've got a plan for you in the future. I'm not going to tell you what that plan is. So this is where we're going to have a time skip. This is all going to be a one big mess, but I promise you in the future. Did someone just click the door 4 o'clock in the morning, or am I going crazy? Right. This is all gonna seem like a convoluted mess, but I promise you I will fill out everything. I'm so sorry if this is it's an absolute mess right now, but yeah. Also, I know this is kind of out of nowhere, but sorry for not uploading recently. I may have completely forgot yesterday. On top of that, I'm trying to get the movie edited and put out because I like doing movies because it gets me views. Call me I don't know, desperate. I am a bit really like okay, right. Anyway, so Deku, he's made a personal computer out of scrap parts, and that's when Inko Midoriya asks Deku to work hard in school. Even though you took them 5 days off, I want you to work as hard as possible. I do have a plan for you in the future. And Midoriya's like, okay, that's a bit weird, but since my mum's asking me to work hard, I'm gonna get max grades and all that. Now, this is where the confusing part's gonna start. I don't know how a grade system works everywhere, but here it's 1 to 9, and nine's like an A star star. So I'm gonna call it an A star, which is the highest grade you can get usually. Like, I think that's how it normally works. If not, Deku basically gets the highest grades in all his class, and he gets this consistently. But he does also get bullied a lot because of his quirk, basically being nerdiness in a sense. Of course, Deku's been practicing with his quirk, so he's now realised about his natural aptitude when it comes to technology. He's more self-conscious about himself. He's also realised how he can well, he's fully realizing how he could create support gear that no one else could create due to his insanely high IQ. Like, I'm talking about it's like insanely high. So he realizes his own potential. So he does what his mum asks and invents all the time, as well as practicing at school. So a few things Deku has invented in his time. He's invented nanobots, and what this does, it goes into his bloodstream and kills all of the common cold. But they're still in prototype era, so what this does is basically stop him from getting any common cold illness. And how it does this is by using very high tech computers that Deku created himself from pretty much scrap parts, and we'll come back to money in a bit. Basically, he's done nanobots in his bloodstream that kill all common illnesses. This is just to show you how technically smart he is. Bear in mind the time skip's only to current UA, so this is what he's like kind of putting himself. On top of that, he's created a gravity chamber room, which helps him exercise, meaning that he spends less time exercising and gets more of a show from it, so he's a bit more muscular. And the reason he wants to be muscular and stronger is so he can work with the tools, like the heavy duty tools. On top of that, he's also made hero suits for certain heroes. Like, he made a hero suit for what's the name? Gigantification quirk, her. He made a hero suit that could shrink and get bigger with her and basically follow her, and was trendy and all that. He was the one that created the technology for that could expand that big and shrink to the normal size again. And he also created a costume for Midnight that was that A covered up the parts that you can't really see, the parts you shouldn't see, and B worked with a quirk. So basically, he's also designed a bunch of different hero costumes for a bunch of different heroes. So he's a prodigy within the well, he's a prodigy already, which does get him some clout at school, but he's still bullied because he's doing this all secretly, and the reason he's doing this is for money, so he can source stuff like the nanobots. Another thing he's managed to do is a hidden blade, but it's different because it's not like a it's like it's a very hidden blade basically. He has nanobots stored within the right arm of his sleeve of his school uniform that come out to create a sword. This is just in case he gets into any trouble. Now you may be asking, what does this sword do? Since Deku doesn't know any sword techniques, the sword is basically just an electric baton, and the reason he's made it look like a sword is because he thought it looked cool. As he's still a bit of a nerd, don't get me wrong. So just to iron things out, right now he's still at a normal school. He's still at his normal school. Just he's working undercover as the prodigy of the hero suit business and making a bunch of hero suits, as well as working on his own technology like the nanobots, which he used to make a nanobot sword that looks cool and is basically an electric taser, as well as nanobots that run in his system to destroy all common colds. This can't mess with genetic stuff. What it does, it kind of works like blood cells and white blood cells and destroys the common cold. It's really high tech how it works, and I'm not gonna try and explain it because I'll just butcher it. So what I'm trying to get across is he's really smart, and he's kind of rich, but he's keeping it a secret from everybody but his mum, who knows about how he's rich, just in case, it's quite suspicious. Anyway, this is where I'm going to end this episode. I am going to be releasing another episode today, because I feel like this one is very confusing, and nothing's really happened in it yet. So, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Goodbye.